So Nick, did you have a question you wanted to ask?
Yeah. So, from my experience, some adult children do not want to talk about end of life planning. How would you recommend having these conversations?
Yeah, good question. Talking about death, as you know, is really an uncomfortable process for most people. It's true for parents as well as their kids. So it's, I think, quite a normal concern to bring that up. A couple of ideas I have. The first thing I think to remember is that these conversations are going to happen over time. There's not going to be just sort of, one 20-minute period of time where you sit down and chat with somebody about this. It'll be an evolving conversation. There'll be multiple attempts at it. It may actually unfold over a number of months as people become more comfortable with talking about it and thinking about it. So that's something to remember. The second piece is, I think, from an adult standpoint, if I'm in the dying process or thinking about my death, I want to give my kids some information. So I would literally share with them a copy of my advance directive. I would share my will with them if they haven't seen it. If they haven't met my medical power of attorney, if they don't for some reason know that person, or I haven't chosen one of them, then I would want to introduce them to that person so they get comfortable with them. And once we've exchanged some information about my thoughts as an older person who are getting ready to die, then what I would do is I'd ask them and listen carefully to what their thoughts and feelings are. I think one of the things that we do as older people is talk too much. So I would shoot for kind of a 50-50 ratio of me talking and my children talking. And I would really listen deeply, understand, accept, and not judge their point of view. I may not agree with it, but I do not want to judge it. A final thought about this, or maybe a couple of final thoughts, is as we progress in these conversations, I would go deeper and share my emotions about this. I could say, for example, that I feel really sad that I won't be able to see my granddaughter's graduation. But that I'm really relieved also that I'm not going to die in the kind of pain that Aunt Sally died in, if you remember. So that I could share some of that emotional content with them, giving them a permission, in a sense, also to share how they're feeling about it. Again, that's up to them, and if they choose to do that, my job would then listen carefully and to validate and understand. So those are the thoughts I have about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I heard you say was focusing first on the informational side and providing the children with as much information as you have, including meeting the people who are part of your team with end of life planning. And then moving into talking about the feelings and the experience for the children, really understanding it from their point of view. And then at that point, possibly opening up about what the experience is like for you.
Yeah, exactly.